And we're back. As you'll notice, I now have done a bit of soul farming, so I have a few extra souls, and that is for a very specific reason. The equipment we need to go through the front entrance to the Grave of Artorias is this. Crest opens sealed door in Heart of Forest. Many adventurers have left for the grave, but none have returned, for they make easy prey for local bandits. With such dangers, the crest can do more harm than good in the hands of the uninitiated. That's basically saying 20,000 souls needs to be trivial for you in order to actually go and buy this and go through the area.
Go get yourself night.
It doesn't have to be, you can cheese the area to an extent. But, it's just an indicator of what level the game expects you to be at that point. There are other ways through, you don't need that crest, it's just the crest, I think, gives a more convenient path. The other path to take is, after you defeat the Hydra, you may notice there was ladders leading from... it's really grainy up there. Might be a bit of a glare issue. Let me just surround myself in darkness. But, there's the ladder near the waterfall that leads up to the same area I'm going to be going in now, the Dark Forest. The difference is that leads to an area with a particularly unique enemy that can be quite difficult to deal with. I mean, it's easy enough to cheese because of their leashes, their aggro range. But it's just easier to do this, and you'll see why. I'm just going to run through it very quickly because there's no reason to stick around. The area I'm going into is a bit of a PvP hotspot, but with a bit of luck I'm just going to go through and get to the boss and get it done with. I'm not really that fussed about PvP. I don't mind invasions around now and then, but it's not really. I'm not really one of those players that really gets into doing lots of PvP all the time. I much prefer playing through the areas and beating the bosses. So that's just what I'm going to do. Fucking scrub. No, shut up, shut up! It's legitimate! Yeah. Anyway, one of the things you can do is there's a load of bandits in this area that can be quite a pain to deal with. But there's a neat little trick you can do. Combat roll! Hello!
Is it not so that thou art need? Thou that comest my the legend traverse.
What is going on with my leg?
And the
So yeah, that cat is a Covenant leader, and the leader of the Covenant in this area. If you talk to her, the other forest hunters actually de-aggro because they're under the assumption that you'll join them. You can throw it completely in their face and just carry on. But it's a nice way to get them off your back if you, in particular, really struggle to deal with those guys. Or if you just want them off your back while you're running through the area. One or the other. Anyway, yeah, there's bosses right here. It's not an area that's particularly difficult by itself. It relies on invasions from the Covenant, but... honestly, that's more of a pain in the ass than anything else. Now then, I don't need full control, I don't know why I still have that. But, let's go and fight the area boss, shall we? He's a nice chap. Or rather, a nice pup. Man, that isn't ominous or anything. What a nice sword. Just makes you want to touch it. I normally don't have a problem with this guy. We'll see how it goes. There's a bit of desync. I'm not happy with that, in the slightest. Oh my word, that damage. He's like, nope, backpedal, backpedal. Yeah, this isn't going to take very long. I mean, he hits hard, but he's easy to dodge, and if you're having trouble with this boss, just don't lock on. Because he doesn't quite know what to do if you don't lock on. Let my stamina recharge for a bit. Sorry, Sif. I know you're defending the grave for your master, but you're kind of in the way. How's he limping? Nah, not yet. Bit of a sad detail with this poor boss. Once you get him down to this health, he just limps along. Pathetically trying to attack you for the honour of his master. Aw, Sif. I want to show this off, but I feel like such an asshole for doing it. Sif, please stop making me cry. Oh well. So, that was Sif. And this was Kieran, who we haven't met yet. But we will. One of the special rings granted to the four Knights of Gwyn. The Hornet Ring belonged to the Lord's Blade Kieran. Or Siren. Not quite sure on that one. By boosting critical attacks, its wearer can annihilate foes as Kieran's dagger laid waste to Lord Gwyn's enemies. Pretty apt that you find it in an area where there's lots of PvP, because, oh my god, the amount of Hornet Ring backstabbers you get in this game. Why did they include that ring? Oh dear. Now, I was actually here for this, and you do have to kill Sif for this, one way or the other. Even if he's your BFF, which I'll get into later. This ring symbolizes Knight Artorias' covenant with the beasts of the abyss. Ominous. Its wearer, like Artorias himself, can traverse the abyss. And that's what we needed. Now, thankfully, to save a trip back, they give you a homeward bone. That's rolling into a grave, Claire. Don't know why he did that. Boop. And I can check on the recording. So, that was that. Pretty short area, really, if you're not doing PvP. 1, 2... Oh well, I'm fighting the Four Kings later. Should I go and make the weapon now? Not really much point, actually. Repair equipment... I'm just mulling over in my head now what I'm going to need for fighting the Four Kings. I'm not really going to need full control. Great Combustion's quite good, but not really what I'm going to do. Power Within's good, but again, not really needed. Magic Barrier. That will be very useful, actually. How could I gloss over that? Get my talisman. I need to get my hands on the canvas talisman later. That'll be better for this build later on. Boop. Now then. I'm going to head off back to Firelink, and from then on in... Controller, please. We'll be heading down to fight the Four Kings. Let that be glorious. Already did that before, but what I didn't do before was maximize the epicness of my claymore. Yes. So now, with my current stats, which will get higher, 408 one hand, 452 hand, 648 buffed. Weapon buffs in Souls games are stupidly powerful. Stupidly powerful. So we'll see how well they do against the Four Kings. It's going to be a long trek down. I might just speed this up. Okay, what I think I'm gonna do is, because I'm not going into this fight with 7 Estus flasks, that's damn certain. I'm gonna clear out the loot in this area and then just start over. No, you're there, Mr. Man. Well, the only way this wouldn't have been a massive waste of time was clearing out the Master Souls, and if this guy drops a slab. He didn't drop a slab. What an ass bag. Oh, and I might as well mention this now. If you summoned Witch Beatrice for fighting the Moonlight Butterfly, she is also here to summon for the Four Kings. Though, in truth, she's not terribly good for it. But hey, it's there. What I need to do is kindle this to 20. So I have ample provisions. I'm not really expecting to get hit too much, but it's just good to have. This fight is a bit of an endurance race, as I mentioned before. It's one you can't really take your time on. So if I need to take hits, I will take hits. For the sake of getting the damage in. Hence why I want more Estus flasks. So now that I've cleared the area out, it should be relatively easy to run through and get to the boss fight. But one thing I need to do is equip the damn ring I fought so hard to get. And we're through. It's as easy as that once you've cleared out most of the area. And once you know your way around. But do be careful, because enemies that are gathered by the fog door can hit you through it, so be very careful about that. Now we've got the ring. We have those ass bags off our back. Let's go and actually prepare for the fight. Great magic barrier is like having a big 50% damage reduction shield all over your body. And these guys pretty much deal exclusively magic damage. So let's see how this goes. Didn't roll quick enough for that one. Oop. Want to get out of the way. Oh, that's why. These guys, as you might have guessed, do not give you a lot of room to maneuver. And Another one has spawned right behind. Oh, nuts. Oh no, that's very rude of you to explode the floor like that. Oh god, okay. I need to get you dead! Alright, that's one down. You really, ideally, don't want to leave any one of them alive. They're weak on health, even if they're not currently attacking, because you need the damage. Thankfully, they're a bit merciful in that they don't all attack you at once. You just have to stay relatively out of their aggro range. And look, see a little damn stamina I have left, because how often I have to attack. There we go. Half health. Actually, can I very quickly buff? Oh, this is gonna suck. You can't dodge that move, by the way. That move is undodgeable because it's slow and it will track you to the ends of the earth, even to the other side of bloody Lordrum. It will track you. I think that one's pretty easy to dodge. And you can attack them during their dying animation. That does work. Come on! Oop. Oh, come on. Fuck you. Nope. Nope. Nope! And there's one that spawned right behind me. Alright, screw it. I just need damage. Damage, damage, damage. There we go. Now, some of you who have played through the game might be looking at that peculiar mustachioed serpent in the distance and think, who the fuck is that? I didn't see that guy before. Is that Framt? Let me just check first of all that the recording is fine. Don't want to have to do all that again. Well, it won't be really. But that was that. No, this is not Framt. This is a character you only get to see if you came here and defeated the Four Kings before you placed the Lord Vessel. Either by yourself or by Framt. And no, this is not Framt. This is Karth.
Greetings, undead warrior. I am the primordial serpent, Darkstalker Karth. I can guide thee and illuminate the truth. The truth I shall share without sentiment. After the advent of fire, the ancient lords found the three souls, but your progenitor found a fourth, unique soul, the Dark Soul. Your ancestor claimed the Dark Souls and waited for fire to subside, and soon the flames did fade, and only dark remained. Thus began the Age of Men, the Age of Dark. However, Lord Gwyn trembled at the dark, clinging to his Age of Fire and in dire fear of humans, and the Dark Lord who would one day be born amongst them. Lord Gwyn resisted the course of nature by sacrificing himself to link the fire and commanding his children to shepherd the humans. Gwyn has blurred your past to prevent the birth of the Dark Lord. I am the primordial serpent. I seek to right the wrongs of the past, to discover our true lord. But the other serpent, Framt, lost his sense and befriended Lord Gwyn. Undead warrior, we stand at a crossroads. Only I know the truth about your fate. You must destroy the fading Lord Gwyn, who has coddled fire and resisted nature, and become the fourth Lord, so that you may usher in an age of dark.
Yeah, alright.
Very well. I shall now guide you to Gwyn's prison. Be still, and trust thine flesh to me.
Very awkward method of transportation.
This is Gwyn's prison. Now, place the Lord Vessel upon the altar.
Okay, so before I go and do that, let's point out a few things. Well, first off, there's a Lord Vessel over there as well. Well, we'll not talk about that. That was cut content. The same thing happens with Framt to an extent. He comes down here and drops you down here and says, place Lord Vessel on the altar. But of course, we're talking to to Karth. We learn a few interesting things that we were not told before by Framt or Controller. Fucking Jesus Christ. Or by the illusion of Guinevere, and by extension Gwendolyn. First off, Gwyn sacrificed himself to keep the Age of Fire going. We were not told that. And secondly, Gwyn is still alive. He's still over there. So how can you sacrifice yourself without actually dying? Well, maybe he's suffering a bit of a fate worse than death. We don't know yet, because we haven't gone and seen him. But now, since we weren't actually told that, it might give us an indication that, well, we already know the gods aren't ready to be trusted. They're deceiving you, but there's more information adding to that maybe linking the fire isn't all that it's cracked up to be. And also, we were told that humanity is originating from the Dark Soul, from the Pygmy. Which is similar to what we hear about this black sprite called humanity. Little known about its true nature, blah 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 blah, so on and so forth. We'll be seeing a bit of that in the DLC, actually, when I go through that. You don't have to side with Karth or Framt, and by the way, Framt has absolutely nothing to say about Karth, so yeah, you don't have to bother talking with him about this after you're done. You don't get anything. Or what you can do is you can come down here yourself by just jumping down the area where Framt is right now. You just jump down yourself and you just magically don't take full damage. So, this is what the Lord Vessel is for. And this time, along with a few other times that I've played for this game, I'm placing it for Karth. It doesn't really make a lick of difference as to what ending you pick, but also, how are you hulking that around in your on your back or in your backpack or whatever? It's enormous. And there we go. Those areas that were blocked off with like an orange hue, if we went there before we placed the Lord Vessel, it'd just say, this place is sealed by Gwyn's power for some reason, or whatever. So, even in the Demon Ruins, where apparently it doesn't hold much sway, or in the Place of the Dead, but whatever. So you need to place the Lord Vessel to complete the rest of the game, and also to access the DLC. Which is why you can't go to the DLC and talk to Karth in order to get the alternate cutscene with Sif, which I highly recommend you look up because it's a very cool cutscene. Unless you're cheating. Unless your name is Plague of Gripes. Anyway, enough of that. We still have things to do. In fact, first off, I'm going to put these damn souls into some damn levels. So what you need to do for the next part of the game is get the rest of the Lord Souls, which Framt and Karth will tell you. Put them in here and you unlock what is the final area of the game. Endurance or vitality? There's not an extra amount, not a terrible amount of vitality there, so... well, it's not a great amount. So I'd rather have more endurance. For now. Anyway, I think, if I recall correctly, there is... The Abyss becomes traversable once you kill the Four Kings. I have not tested this myself, so this will be interesting.
Very well. Once the vessel is filled with souls, the gate to Gwyn shall open. Seek Gravelord Nito, the Witch of Izalith, and the traitor, Seath the Scaleless. Fill this vessel with their souls, then the gate will open, so that you may kill Gwyn. Are you ready? Then let us return to the Abyss.
I like to imagine he's swallowing you and then regurgitating you out. And you're just covered in slime like, oh jeez, what the fuck? Oh god, slippery everywhere. Anyway, there is a reason oh, yeah, you're totally fine.
If you wish, I shall grant the art of life drain, the legendary power of the Dark Lord. It can preserve your humanity while undead, and cast off the shackles placed upon your brethren.
That's basically a flowery way of saying you can steal humanity from other people if you want. So this guy is behind the Darkgrave Covenant. He is what you need to... he's the guy you need to talk to if you want to become a career invader with the Red Eye Orb or whatever. Which is alright. But it's not what I'm going to be doing with this character. But this is where you come. And he also has a final little bit of interesting dialogue that I want to get out.
Undead warrior, to speak now,
No. No. Wait, what? I got that!
They failed me, every last one of them. They were strong, but saw not the truth. I am certain that you will prove different.
That was the bit of dialogue I wanted to get. It's the only real indication that Karth is disappointed in the Dark Race that you fight and the Four Kings, in the sense that they fail to see his vision through of bringing an Age of Dark. They're just sort of selfishly turned into humanity-eating monsters. Which is why Karth is, despite being pretty amoral and pragmatic, in the loosest of terms, I suppose, he's not necessarily the villain, in a sense. Especially considering how you've been lied and deceived to by the gods, and humanity has been for all this time. Which is what makes this particular character and this particular moment interesting, and why I wanted to fucking control it. Why I wanted to get it sorted in the Let's Play. So, thanks very much, Karth.
Farewell.
I'll see you around. Probably never. Now, there's a couple other things I want to do before I end the set. First off is to show how Framt reacts. Hi, Framt.
You sorry fool. You could not be the chosen one. Enough. I shall slumber until I am awakened again.
Well, fuck you too, asshole. So yeah, he doesn't seem particularly that bothered that you've gone and betrayed him, as it were, in his eyes. So he just goes back and waits for some other pap. Some other hapless person. The next thing I wanted to do was to make a boss weapon. I have not really shown this, I don't think. Even though I have the Chaos Blade. So I figured I'd show it now. Damn, this is the furthest he's followed me. Persistent little asshole. So, if you've been looking at my build all up to this time and thinking, why the hell is he putting so many goddamn points into intelligence and faith when he basically only uses utility spells? What the hell is the matter with him? Does he not know about build optimization, the scrub? yeah, enough about that. I think I need more souls, though, so I'm just gonna go pop some now. Yeah, that'll do. Measly 400. This broken straight sword that has been sitting around being useless is going to be made into the great sword of Artorias. That's what I've been wanting all this time. And now I can actually use it. This is a weapon you basically almost never use because of its requirements. But this is it. This is the weapon. Looks pretty nice. I think it looks a bit more like the claymores in the anime than the actual claymore does. So that's why I wanted to get it, as well as the fact that I've never really made a build that could use it. And I think it looks really sweet. So, why do I like this? Well, in comparison to the others, it has magic damage, so it actually gets some scaling out of your intelligence and faith, which is pretty good. And it has the highest divine modifier in the game, which I'm gonna go over in a bit. Divine occult effects targeting specific foes. So this, in a sense, adds a 40% extra damage modifier to, say, skeletons. Which is quite nice. It's heavy as all hell, but it's quite nice. And also just because I like how it looks. Sword born from the soul of the great grey wolf Sif, guardian of the grave, the abyss walker knight Artorias. So Artorias hunted the dark race, and his sword strikes harder against dark servants. So we took up the mantle and beat them for him. I just want to have a quick look at his moveset. The great sword moveset I think is exactly the same in terms of our wands. Swish. Swish. Except I think this is slightly larger. Also has a sort of bluey hue, which is really new. But it has basically useless R2s. Because they're just so goddamn slow. But yeah, that was the weapon, and that's that. That's the Four Kings done. We've unlocked the final areas of the game, and we can get access to the DLC. But I'm not done in Londo, because I want to go into the painted world over there. Once I'm done with that, and I've dealt with Gwendolyn as well, then we'll think about moving on to the DLC. But until then, keep on praising, and I'll see you next time.